Welcome to David Finch Multimedia Creations, DFMMC 2014. Okay, so lots of people are doing these narrations now, so I figured I would get on the ball and start doing this along with them. What I got doing or going on right now is I was just intending on making a cross pattern defining my center point, thinking, oh, I'll just be able to match up the corners on the square tube with the lines, and then it just kind of clicked. It's like, hey, these lines aren't 90 degrees to each other, so that's not going to work. So I kind of just eyeballed it at this point, and then decided, measure and make sure that I got everything centered and squared up with the speed square there. Uh, at this point, I would be tack welding using some 6011 on AC polarity. Main reason why I chose to use AC polarity is because I had about 70 feet of lead wrapped up and I didn't want to have any issues magnetic wise or induction wise with that lead in the current and yada yada. So right here I'm just trying my best to get the height that I want to have this tool working at, and I tried measuring, couldn't really figure it out. What I ended up doing was just setting it next to my table saw stand, which is at an appropriate height, and just marked a line off of that and went and cut it on my bandsaw. Here, I kind of say to myself that I mark it out as if it's a 16 by 16 piece, which it initially was supposed to be, and so I just marked this at 7 inches and 7 inches, being that that would be the outside corner. Then I realized that I cut it at 15 and 3/4, so I kind of had to cheat an eighth of an inch each way. I'm strategically placing these tacks because I needed it to draw in order to be square, so that's why I keep making sure that it is square after each tack weld. Now you can see on the bench I've also got this. I tried my best to getting this clamped down so that I can control some of the distortion. It's clamped on the outside two corners, and I laid a bar across the other side and clamped across my little workbench that I have. And the workbench is rather cluttered, and this is one of the main reasons why I'm actually building this stand, is just because originally I've been using the grinder. It's just been sitting on the back of the workbench whenever I need it. I mean, turn it on. It was convenient, but it's still in the way. All of this welding right here is done using a E6013 332nd rod. It was about 75 amps to start with, and I kind of, to be honest, I foobarred it and realized I was way too cold, and I started turning it up and then turned it up a little bit more, and eventually you'll actually see this nice little rod canister on the left disappear, and that's when I went and got some 1/8 inch 7014, and I welded using the 7014. I started it at 130 amps, and I think by the time I was done I dropped down to about 120. So used a couple different electrodes. Yep, right here, this is all the 1/8 inch 7014 electrode, and it welds really nice. Again, I tried clamping down to the table right here to minimize some distortion that I knew I would end up getting. I know in part one I originally had these gussets 90 degrees to the, or normal to the square tubing, and I, on the fly, changed it, I guess. So in the end, I know that this will be a really nice stand for this. There will be a couple more additions, even though it is already painted. As you can see, I will probably put a wheel on one side of the base so I can just tilt it and roll it around, and then also I'll probably end up putting a bolt or something in there that I can hang a water tray on. So if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, see if there's some other things that you can pick out that I didn't, and we'll go from there.